Is this the beginning of the end of this iteration of the Warriors?
I mean, I think with or without Bob Myers, we were nearing the end. I mean, these guys aren't getting any younger, right? They're all in their 30s, mid 30s. So we only expected them to have maybe 2 or 3 more years with this core together playing at a championship level. But I do think with the Warriors, what makes them so interesting is that they have a lot of big personalities in that building, and Bob
Yeah.
Myers seemed like a guy who was able to keep everyone together, through some of the Draymond blowups, through the Jordan Poole punch situation, through Klay Thompson disappearing during off seasons. Steve Kerr can be a hothead at times. I think you needed Bob Myers there to kind of be the uniter, to be the guy who say, "Hey, I've been here since the beginning. I understand you guys. I understand how to get everybody on the same page." And I think it's going to be a lot on Mike Dunleavy, especially. I mean, let's just say it with Draymond Green. Draymond
Hmm.
is a guy who can be really difficult to handle at times, and
And
he can
also might not
blow
be
up,
there.
and
He
he might
can
not be
opt out and
there,
leave. Yeah.
and he might be upset about his contract situation next year.
Hmm.
So I think it's a very delicate situation you're dealing with there in Golden State, and we throw in Poole and Kaminga, two young guys who are uncertain about their future, who might
Hmm.
want to be out, who might want to go somewhere where they can, show off their talents a little bit more. So I think it's a very delicate situation to deal with in Golden State. Bob Myers has done a masterful job of that over the past couple of years. And I think it's going to be a lot of stress on Mike Dunleavy. Basketball, Steph, Klay, and Draymond, Steve Kerr, they can figure that out. They'll be fine
Hmm.
on the court. I think with the Warriors, there's that constant off the court. We know there's going to be some drama with that team. Somebody's going to blow up. Somebody's going to have an interview that goes viral. And they've got to find a way to be able to deal with that behind the scenes where it's not just Draymond popping off on his podcast the way we know he's used to. Somebody's got to be able to handle stuff behind closed doors. And it's going to be a lot on Mike Dunleavy to handle that now.
Yeah. What do you think is the next move for the Warriors, just in terms of, do they shake it up? Do they trust the young guys? Do they keep it all together? Like, what do you think is going to happen?
They've got to make a decision on Jordan Poole and Draymond Green. That's next. Like,
Kind
do
of
you
Klay
keep
Thompson too,
Draymond?
right? Like
I guess.
Klay was not that good, and he's getting 40 next year.
He's good during
Yeah.
the regular season, I would say.
As long as Steph is playing at an MVP type level, and he did this past season whenever he was on the court, you need to try to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Kerr has come out and said this doesn't work without Draymond. We're not a contender without Draymond. So obviously you know what he wants to do. They need to figure out the Jordan Poole situation. Can he get back to the level he was last season
Mm-hmm.
versus the mess he was really all season long? And it didn't really show up that much until the playoffs, but he was not the same player. He did not play with the same intent. He did not play with the same team mindset this season. And
Yeah.
it seemed like a frustrated, splintered team about his play from the punch on. So then they need to get more size on the perimeter. Like there's a lot this team needs. There's a lot this
They
team
go
needs to
about four
figure
deep,
out.
man. Maybe it's more if you like trust Kuminga and Moody and everything, but like they go about four deep right now.
There's just so many guys to make a decision on, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you clear the path for Kaminga to play because he wasn't ready this year? Kerr decided he was so unready that he was playing just 6'2" guys at power forward during the
Yeah.
playoffs when they
Yep.
desperately needed size and athleticism. So is Kaminga the guy? Is Poole the guy? Dunleavy is going to step into a a team that he could take in a lot of different directions, and his vision for it all is going to be really, really important because I don't think there are obvious answers to a lot of those questions.
I do love Joe Lacob saying, "We don't care what the rules are. We're gonna do what we need to do." I'm like, well, that's not maybe something I put on wax. Like that's not.
Yeah, for sure. But I think, for me, as an outsider looking at it, I would be shocked if Jordan Poole's on that team next year. Just because I think with the new reality of the CBA, I mean, Jay knows this with that Grant Williams situation with Boston. I would throw DeAndre Ayton in this conversation as
Mhm.
well. I think it's going to be really hard to exist in the world with this new CBA where your fourth, fifth best player is making $30 million. You got to be able to break that up into two, three guys instead of paying somebody off of your bench $30 million. And I think that's going to be tough for them. And right now, I think it's probably the worst time to trade Jordan Poole. His trade value probably never been lower. But I think just the reality moving forward, like y'all said, they just don't have the depth. Their players are older. We know Steph isn't going to play 82 games. We know Draymond, Klay, they're going to take time off. So you're going to need guys off the bench to come in and contribute. And it's just going to be a tough reality for them moving forward. I think for a lot of these contending teams where you want to pay your role players who help you get there, but it's tough to exist in the world, again, when your fourth, fifth best player is making $30 million.
Hey, Internet, stop trying to put Jordan Poole on the Orlando Magic, okay? My beloved Orlando Magic that I just want to watch time in and time again. Like, I don't want that. I'm good. Stop doing that.
Orlando's a great spot for a pool party. Why not?
The Steve Kerr said something interesting.
If Jay had said that, we would have ended the pod. All right, just even with one more seg, we would have ended that shit right now. Just so you know.
Steve Kerr said something interesting after the season, and I forget where I saw it, but he said that Klay needs to basically adjust his game because he's not the same guy anymore, and that's a problem, right?
Yeah,
like that's a problem because Klay didn't do that this year. Too many times he forced his shot and looked to be the old Klay. It's a problem because they need Klay to be Klay. Even in the finals last season when he was just coming back from the injury, he was able to dig deep and give them some great basketball, two-way basketball in that series. I don't know how much it impacts them and whether they can still win rings if Klay isn't Klay anymore.
Well, next year it hurts because he's getting like 40 plus, right? After that, if he's taking that Andrew Wiggins discount, then maybe it's not so bad.
Right.
But that's asking a lot.
And that's a tough thing to say as an organization. We need you to take a huge discount after you've won
not
4
that
rings
good anymore. Yeah.
That's a tough conversation to have. Mike Dunleavy,
you know what? Mike Dunleavy Jr.?
Into some stuff.
That's what the money's for you to say those
Bob
conversations.
Myers, buddy.
Bob Myers, I'll tell you what, he left at the right time because he's not going to be the guy to make a decision on when to end this run. He's not going to be the guy to tell Klay, sorry, man, we got to cut your contract way down. He's not going to be the guy to be stuck with that entire mess. He just gets to leave, skate away with his
he gets to answer a phone and say, I'm sorry, what was that, Mr. Bomber? You want to pay me how much? You got it. Get it tomorrow.
He gets to go podcast twice a week or once a week.
I saw a tweet. I can't remember who it was, but I saw a tweet saying we should have known it was over when he started a podcast mid-season. And that's a great sign that things are probably ending for your elite executive.
Well, the good news is if you want to go to a non-stressful situation, the Clippers are it, right? There's no stress going on in LA. It's easy going out there. Everybody just taking every game off. So you got nothing to worry about.